So you can see from an untreated batch to this one, it's getting more satiny as we work it. This is only the second time it's been in for 30 seconds. So I'll just stretch it out. And like I said, it's very hot. Most people use rubber gloves, but I'm just not most people. There we go. And if you do it while it's hot, it just makes you work faster. Alright, I'm really not getting any whey out of this one, so I'm going to set this one down and I'll begin to work the next one. I'll do it again in as many 30-second intervals as I need to make it look like this batch over here. Alright, I've done all 3 batches. Normally I have more cheese in that because I use 2 full gallons. This time it was about 1 3/4 gallons. So I'm going to take this plate now and put it in the microwave and let it go for 30 seconds and then work it as one big blob. Now, having a microwave is a very handy thing. If you didn't have your microwave, you'd be dropping balls back into the whey for 10 seconds, pulling it out, and basically doing the same thing I'm doing without the microwave. And right now I'm just trying to get it to where I can begin to stretch it. You'll see it'll begin to stretch. It's extremely hot, but you want to stretch and stretch the cheese. You can pull it or just let it stretch on its own. And just keep working it. And I'll pop it in again for 30 seconds. And that'll probably be my last step. You can see it's becoming very nice, satiny smooth. That's where you want it to be. The more stretching you do, the nicer, firm mozzarella you end up with. It'll just stretch out on its own. Alright, now what I'm going to do is just make a nice mound. Let it cool. Some people plunge it into ice water. I just let it cool and put it in a Ziploc bag. Put it in the fridge. It becomes a nice firm lump that I can grate for pizza, for lasagna, for spaghetti. Basically whatever you use mozzarella cheese in. So that's to show you how to make mozzarella cheese, but we're not quite done yet with our cheese making. I popped it on the scale. Normally I have between 1.5 to 1 3/4 pounds, but being I used a little less milk, you can see it's just over a pound. Now I'm back at the stove. The whey, as you can see, doesn't really look like much came out of this pan by the amount of fluid. That's how it works when you're making cheese. But I'm not going to waste this whey. I either use it for baking breads, or we feed it to the chickens, or we do what I'm going to be doing now, which is making ricotta. Yes, you can still make another cheese out of this. What I'm doing is bringing it up to about 200 degrees, and all I'm going to add to it is 1/4 cup of vinegar. So I'm going to let it sit here. Once we're at 200 degrees, we'll be back to show you the next step. For the vinegar, I just picked this vinegar up from Walmart. You can see it's just plain old vinegar, and we'll put 1/4 cup into a measuring cup, and that's what we're going to be using for the ricotta. That's it. Basically just a blob out of the jug. Okay, this whey is just about to burst into boiling. We're at 200 degrees here. You can see it's a little more milky looking after I squeeze the whey out of the cheese. It's more milky looking residue, that liquid that comes out of the mozzarella. So now here's my little bit of vinegar, and I will pour that little bit of vinegar into here. And I'm going to keep stirring. At this point I'm going to turn the element off. It's starting to boil and I don't want it to boil over. At this point it kind of looks a little boring, doesn't it? Nothing much happening, just looks like a pot of milk. A little bit of patience, just going to keep stirring it. Now when I did the mozzarella, in the final stages you can sprinkle salt on it as you're working the mozzarella. We have some in our home that are on low sodium diets, so I didn't add any to it. A really nice treat is to eat the mozzarella right when you've made it fresh, warm mozzarella. And you can sprinkle it with regular salt or even a little bit of pretzel salt. A nice tasty snack. See, it's coming to a boil. I'm going to remove it from the heat and bring it over to the colander. I've moved the whey over to the counter here. It's extremely hot, so rather than to just pour from a big container, I'll take what looks to be this water and I'm going to pour it back and begin to strain. Doesn't look very interesting as of yet. Put some gloves on and do the rest of the pot in there. It looks like I'm back to having milk. You can see in the bottom of the pot there it's coming out. And we'll let this drain. It'll take a bit of time because of course there's a lot of liquid in here. What I'll do is I'll show you with, you'll begin to see the whey separate from the ricotta. You can see it forming on the side here. And what I'll do is I'll just scrape that down as it sinks into my cloth here. Just go around the edges so all the ricotta is at the bottom. And once I get most of the liquid out of here, I'm going to be tying a rope around the cloth and letting it hang to drain for the final draining. Alright, what I'm doing now is gathering the corners. See how it helps to always have bandanas around? And I'm going to take string, pop it in, make it nice and snug, and we're going to hang it like this and let it drain until it stops dripping. So I'll take it over to the knob of the cupboard here. Just adjust it. And we'll let that drip. And what I want to show you is if you take a look inside my pot now, all we have left is a green looking liquid. I still don't throw that out. We throw different cereals or old pieces of bread and give that to the chickens, or they just drink it plain like that. It makes for really good calcium, nice strong eggshells. So once our whey is finished dripping, I'll show you what the ricotta looks like. And I'm going to open it up and show you. Just take a spoon, scrape down the sides of the cloth, transfer your ricotta into a bowl. Just take me a sec here to scrape it all off, put it in the bowl, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, I've transferred the ricotta into a bowl. Sprinkle a little salt in there. Stir it up. That'll settle in the fridge. And here's our pound of mozzarella. So you can see you can make 2 cheeses from less than 2 gallons of milk. And this is Tam Wendell thanking you for joining us. And if you're in your neighborhood, pop over. You can have some fresh sourdough bread with homemade cheese. See you soon in another video.